Okay, thank you all of you for greeting us with Teachers Day. Okay, today we would like to discuss something about yeah, something regarding to the points. Deadlock. Point number one is deadlocks with the concurrency control of time-stamped ordering protocols. They are wait and die, and wound and wait schemes. We'd like to discuss these two today, so that we'd like to complete concurrency control of the database management system today. Okay, we'd like to complete everything by today. So if it is very small, very less kind of class only, because already you have some information with you through operating system course, that what is the deadlock and what are the different characteristics of deadlock. Everything has been known to you. Okay, so simply I'd like to talk something about extra in terms of the database management system transactions. That's all. That is the only point we would like to consider here. And let's get started without any delay. So look at this. Normally, deadlocks in the sense, so a set of transactions will be there with you. Many number of transactions will be there with you, and the set of transactions are supposed to be wait for another transaction within the same set here. Okay, within the same set here. So a transaction could be wait for the data item which is being held by another transaction. Then such kind of situation is called as so deadlock here. Okay, deadlock in the sense, as far as so database management system is continuously talking something about handling data items for doing some kind of manipulations on the data items of that particular table. So the same kind of table can be utilized or can be locked by many number of transactions. Then deadlock situation could be gets existed. That is the basic point which we'd like to talk something about deadlocks here. Okay, and then so it could be seems something like this. So a transaction T naught, there are several number of transactions which are available within the system. That is T naught is belongs to one user, T1 is belongs to another user, and so on and so forth. So Tn is belongs to some nth user. Totally n plus one number of users are there here. And here, when deadlock will be gets occur here is when T naught is waiting for a particular data item which is being held by T1, and T1 is waiting for another data item which is held by T2, so and so on and so forth. So Tn minus 1 is waiting for so a particular data item which is held by so Tn. Alternatively, Tn is waiting for a data item which is held by so T naught. So probably this kind of waiting state will be called the necessary conditions within operating systems. We do have 4 necessary conditions. Out of 4 necessary conditions, this particular kind of so condition is called as circular wait. Okay, this is called as circular wait. Let us see here. Let us see this particular scenario here. So why it is called circular wait in the sense? So T1 is waiting for T naught is waiting for T1, and T1 is waiting for T2. T2 is waiting for T3, and so on and so forth. Tn minus 1 is waiting for Tn's data item, and Tn is waiting for T naught. So simply speaking, something like this. If you consider your operating system, so these are the processes here, and these are the resources here. For example, in our operating system, and this resource is allocated to this particular process. This is process 1 and this is process 2, for example. And only one resource instance will be there within this particular resources here. So this resource is, so she is waiting for another resource. That resource will be, so let me consider this is this is R1 and this is R2, for example. R1 is already handled by process 1, but she is waiting for another resource R2. R2 is already assigned to second process, but she is waiting for R1 here. So such kind of thing will be called a circular wait. Okay, circular wait. This is called a circular wait. In the similar fashion, here also seems like this, but here we don't have any resources. We do have some data items in the specific tables. So one item is being taken care by one particular transaction and waiting for another item which is being held by one more transaction here. So something like this, it is being waiting for this particular transaction, and it is being transaction T1 is waiting for transaction 2's data item, and so on and so forth. Scenario will be seen in such a way, then this is called deadlock in database management systems. We don't have any necessary characteristics or necessary conditions in database management system. So in operating system, yes, you have. In operating system, you have such kind of conditions, but here we don't have only one particular condition. That is, this particular scenario will be called as the deadlock situation, where the database system is being done here. Okay. Within this particular scenario, so any one of these transactions cannot be gets progress because waiting for some other item which is held by some other transaction. Okay, T1 is waiting for some other item which is held by transaction T2 and so on. So therefore, that is the scenario, so that no progress will be done within this particular situation. So if progress cannot be there while executing any kind of transactions in databases, then that scenario is called as, that situation is called as a deadlock situation. So every system or every transaction will be in waiting state only. So no other operation is being done by that particular transaction. Then what shall we have to do? It is the database management system's responsibility to resolve this particular kind of scenario. So what exactly the situation could be, how this particular situation could be resolved. And this could be considered as a starvation also. Starvation in the sense continuously, indefinitely, so the transactions are being wait for the data item which are being held by some other system, some other transactions here. So this is also called as the starvation position. Okay. Now, what exactly the situation could be done here is any one of these transactions must be rolled back. Any one of them. So totally n plus one number of transactions are there with us. So if any one of voluntarily any one of the transaction will be rolled back, so it has been done up to some extent and it is being waiting for some other data item held by some other transaction. T0 is being done up to some 20 operations of the transaction. Still more some 20 more operations are there. Those 20 more operations will be done if so one more data item is required by T0, which is held by T1. Okay, then one of the specific transaction will be rolled back, then deadlock situation will be resolved. Then it is very difficult to choose which transaction will be rolled back. Okay, so how this could be done? This could be done in a situation that this rolling back will be done by the point where exactly the lock has been acquired by that particular transaction. On one particular data item, lock will be gets acquired. So that particular scenario, so the transaction will be up to that particular extent. The transaction will be rolled back here. However, the point will be, so who will be take this particular responsibility? Who will be take in the sense, so this particular thing will be done by using two different types of scenarios. There are two different types of methods to be considered for rolling back the situations. Number one, deadlock prevention protocol. First one is deadlock prevention protocol, and second one is So deadlock prevention in the sense, if you observe the state of the particular total execution of the transactions, if any transaction will be put into waiting state, so it will be immediately identifies and never occur this particular deadlock state by that particular whole system. Okay, that is one kind of protocol which we do have. And second thing is, second point will be identify after deadlock has been occurred, it's been identified the deadlock detection, deadlock identification could be done. After deadlock identification, so there might have some kind of resolution, otherwise the recovery schemes might be there. Either of these two will be done, either of these two. One is deadlock prevention, and second one is if deadlock is already gets occurred, then identify where exactly the deadlock will be gets occurred and recovery. Okay, these are the two different types of schemes where exactly we have to follow. And then we would like to consider deadlock prevention. How this particular deadlock prevention could be gets happen. Let us have a look here. Okay. So for preventing the deadlocks, we would like to use preemption of the transactions for rollback. Okay, preemption in the sense what do you say, voluntarily you have to prevent yourself, and you have to roll back up to where lock has been acquired by you on that particular data item. For example, so transaction T1 will be there, transaction T1 will be there, and the transaction T1 is acquired a particular lock, some 20 or 30 operations are there here, many number of operations are there here. So at this particular scenario, at this particular state, so it has been occurred that particular lock of some ABC table. For example, ABC table lock has been get occurred. Then the transaction T2 also be there with you. And here also as much as the number of operations are there within the transaction. Somewhere else here, the lock of so-called ABC has been acquired by this particular transaction T2. And the transaction T2 will be put into waiting state since already transaction T1 has been held that particular item, that is ABC. So the transaction T2 will be put into waiting state here. Okay. And where exactly you got this particular lock, and after getting this particular lock, you have progressively go and execute one or two operations. Then you have to put into lock step. Already we have seen in the previous state. Let me show you at this moment also. I'd like to show you. So after two or three instructions of this transaction T2, it will be put into waiting state. Then what shall we have to do? Voluntarily, T2 will be so rolled back and avoid that particular deadlock here. So this is one particular point. Now, how this could be done? Let us have a look. Okay. So, for example, in preemption in the sense, I believe that you people have some kind of idea what is preemption. So if a particular process will be run using CPU, and the CPU will be so releases that particular process, since very important or prioritized process will be coming to the ready queue, so that must be executed first, then followed by the holding process will be done. That is the general scheme of operating system. So that taking of a new job by omission of currently running job is called as a preemption. Okay, taking a new job by so currently running job will be taken off will be called as preemption. So in preemption, when a transaction Ti request for a lock, but the transaction Ti has been called, this is Tj and this is Ti. Ti has been already hold that particular lock on one particular data item, which is requested right now by the transaction Tj. Then the lock has been granted by the transaction so Ti, and it could be so preempted and rolled back by Ti. Okay, Tj is requested the lock on particular item. That lock is already held by Ti, another transaction. For example, T2 is requested one particular lock on the data item. and the lock is already held by T1. So in this particular scenario, preemption in the sense Ti must be preempted the particular lock and come out from the locking so that Tj will be gets acquired that particular lock here. In this particular scenario, so this preemption could be gets happened. So let us take, if you do not understand properly, let us take Ti, otherwise T1 already held this particular lock here, and T2 is requesting for a lock. This is a requesting for lock here. Okay, if considering that T2 is very important transaction, so that the Ti will be released this particular lock immediately, and up to what extent it has been done, that will be rolled back. That will be rolled back. This requisition will be converted into the lock extent. So that is what the point we'd like to consider here. The point which is under preemption. Okay, under preemption, that is the point which we would like to consider. Now, the preemption can be done by applying two different kinds of protocols. These protocols very, very, very important for you for your final examination. Please remember and have this particular thing here. Wait and die. The protocol will be wait and die. What do you mean by wait and die here is, so wait for some time and then the lock cannot be released by you, then you have to preempt yourself and you have to roll back yourself. That is what about the wait and die. Okay, let us see. Let us see here. Let us see the scenario here. What is the specific scenario where exactly we need to consider? When transaction Ti, look at this very carefully, only one statement will be there here. Single statement will be there. Okay, no other statements are there. Only one statement is there. When transaction Ti is requested for a data item currently held by Tj. Okay, Tj is the specific data item, specific transaction which is already holding one data item which requests by Ti. Now, Ti is allowed to wait. Remember, Ti is allowed to wait if it has the timestamp which is smaller than Tj. I'll give you one example, then you could understand. Okay, so Ti is allowed to wait only if has a timestamp smaller than the Tj. Tj's timestamp is so very long back, and Ti will be entered just before the Tj will be so preempted and rolled back out, and the Ti will be allowed to execute. Let me give you one small example, then you could understand. So here. Otherwise, the Ti is rolled back and dies. What does it mean? If Ti is very smaller than the Tj, then Tj will be rolled back. Otherwise, Ti will be rolled back. So let us consider here. For example, T1, T2, T3 does have the timestamps 5, 10, and 15. This T3 was entered into the execution portion 15 minutes ago, and T2 has entered into the execution 10 minutes ago, and T1 has entered into the execution 5 minutes ago. That is the meaning. Okay, that is the meaning. So these are the timestamps, so which are being taken into consideration by T1, T2, and T3. Now, so there is a scenario, T1 is requested a data item which is held by T2. Understand? T1 is very, very, very fresh transaction. Just now it was entered. T2, it was long back, it was entered for execution. T3, very long back, it has been entered. Okay, very long back, it has been entered. Now, so T1 is being running in the course of time, and T1 is requested for one particular data item. That data item is already held by T2. Already held by T2. Then T1 will wait, because the timestamp of so T1 is smaller than T2. Understand? The timestamp is timestamp of T1 is smaller than T2. So 5 is yes, 5 is less than 10. Yes, it is true. Yes, it is true. So therefore, so therefore the T1 transaction T1 will be wait for some time. Otherwise, now one more scenario. Now, so T3 requests a data item which is held by T2, but T3's data timestamp will be very high when compared to this one here. That is 15 is so 15 is so less than 10, which is false, which is false. Since T3's requisition has been done to the T2, therefore T3 will be rolled back. Okay, timestamp of T3 is less than timestamp of T2 will be gives you the output as false. Because it is false, T3 will be rolled back immediately, preempted everything and rolled back immediately, and it is waiting for some more time. Okay, it will restart the transaction. Whereas if you consider T1 request data item held by T2, T1 is requested data item held by T2, then T1 will be wait. What is the scenario here? You need to consider timestamp of so T1 is 5, which is less than timestamp of T2. Yes, it is true. T2 is older than T1, so therefore you have to wait. I mean, the younger transaction must be gets wait for some time. Whereas if the same scenario will be applied to the another context, the context will be T3's timestamp is very large when compared to T2. Then T3 is requesting data item which is held by T2. Then T3 will be rolled back. Why it is rolled back here in the sense? Timestamp of T3, that is 15, is less than 10. So since it is false, because of it is false, because T3 is very older than T2, therefore T3 must be rolled back and it will be restart the same again. Okay, so these are the two different kinds of scenarios where exactly you have to operate in wait and die. Okay, sometimes if a transaction will be very younger transaction, then it could be wait. If transaction will be very older transaction, it could be rolled out in the sense preempted. So this is what about the specific operation which is in wait and die. Whereas in wound and wait, what exactly this wound and wait will be? So this is primitive technology. This is primitive technology in the sense it could be preempted immediately when the situation will be demands. Then it is the counterpart, opposite part of wait and die. In wait and die, if your process will be, I mean, your transaction will be very younger, so you must be wait. Your process or transaction will be very older, then it will be so rolled out or rolling out. Okay, that is the scenario where exactly in wait and die. So let us see what exactly this could be. So this could be, look at this, the statement will be, look at this. So transaction, when a transaction Ti is requested a data item which is currently held by Tj, then Ti is allowed to wait only if it is if it has a timestamp larger than Tj. Previously smaller than Tj, it could be wait. Now it is larger than Tj. Okay, Ti is younger than Tj. That is the meaning here. Okay, look at this. Otherwise, so Tj will be rolled back, and so what does roll back in the sense? Tj will be wounded by Ti. Let us take the example. Same example one more time. Transaction T1, T2, T3 have timestamps 5, 10, and 15 respectively. Then first scenario, if T1 is requested a data item so held by T2, then data item will be preempted from T2 and the T2 will be rolled back. Why it could be done here in the sense? So why it could be, let me say T2's item in the sense timestamp of TS, timestamp of Tj. Let me consider here in this scenario that is T2. Tj is greater than timestamp of so let me consider Ti. In this particular scenario, that is called as a T1. Will be gives you true. So then Tj will be rolled out. Tj will be rollback. Okay, roll, ROLLBAC, rollback. If this will be true, then immediately rollback will be gets happy. If this is false, if this particular scenario will be false, this scenario will be false, nothing has to do. Okay. So same thing will be gets acquired here. T3 request a data item which is held by T2, then T3 will be wait. Why? It is TJ, timestamps of TJ. TJ right now that is 3. So 3 TJ will be, T3 timestamp will be, so 15, it is 15, which is greater than, I hope that not exactly. Okay, greater than, so some 10 here, which is true. So therefore, sorry, here I wrote something here that is false actually. It must be gives you false. It must be gives you false. Then it will be rolled back. Yes, it is true. So therefore, if it is true, obviously you must be wait for some time. If it is false, obviously you must be rolled out. So scenario, look at this. Transaction T1's timestamp is 5, and then which is greater than transaction T2's timestamp will be, so 10. Okay, which gives you, so false. So therefore, Tj in the sense T2 will be obviously waited, rolled back. Okay, so therefore this is the scenario where exactly you have to consider in terms of wound and wait. Okay, so these are the specific operations where exactly we would like to come across with so wait and die and wound and wait. Okay, this is what about today's class. Okay. Yeah, attendance also taken.